Hello, loves. Hello, hello. It's Hills here from the Blue Flame Apothecary. How is everyone doing? How's your re-entry from the eclipse wormhole going? Maybe, like me, you're still really feeling all the spinning that was going on in that space. As you're gathering yourself back together, getting your bearings in this new place where you find yourself now upon emergence. As we start to open this energy update, I'm feeling a lot of let's come to center energy. Let's come to center. Let's take a couple of breaths together. This week, I'm recording this on the 9th of May, Tuesday. The week between that eclipse, full moon, Scorpio eclipse, full moon, and the new moon that's happening next week on the 19th. We have a lot of powerful alchemical energy. It's like we came through all of that transformation of the eclipse wormhole, came through all of that transformation, and there's a time now to allow all of the insights, all that came through this transformation, all that we excavated in that full moon eclipse, to rise to the surface and to be released in that form that it most serves for it to release. I'm going to start right now bringing in some of the big astrological events that are going to happen this week. One of them already has by my current moment in time, which is yesterday, Venus moved into Cancer. So the planet of love and beauty and desire is in the sign of belonging and family. You might be seeking to beautify and change the way that you are expressing love in your immediate familial relations, whether that's a nuclear family, a tribal family, or there's so many different types of family. Allow that word to mean what it means for you, is what I'm hearing. Allow that word to mean what it means for you. One of the ways that I'm feeling this energy is to allow more love and grace energy, more beauty energy to come into my personal relationship with belonging, because that's what the energy of Cancer is all about. It's where do I belong? How do I belong? In what context, in what way do I weave my thread? In what way do I weave my thread in this tapestry, in this unit, in this this tribe. It keeps coming in as tribe, not the parents that you were born from or the family that you've created through other relationships. But okay, I understand. I just got a nudge. That's what that was. When all day today, before I recorded this, I have been hearing, today you're going to go on camera and you're going to talk about soul groups. And here I am, I'm trying to talk about astrology. And the first thing that comes in is Venus in Cancer and belonging. And I keep trying to say family, and I keep getting told, no, this is not what you're here to talk about. Not that kind of family. Anyways, so gentle nudging received, and let's explore soul groups, shall we? Guides are so funny, aren't they? Higher selves, multidimensional beingnesses. So let's take a breath and a beat here. A heartbeat, a couple of them, a few of them. As I invite you to feel into this phrase, soul group, to explore what it means to you. What is a soul group? I can share with you the guidance that I have been given about soul groups, what they mean for us, and why it might be important to know which soul group or groups your beingness, your multidimensional self, your higher self, that part of you that remains connected to source might come from. When we are walking our destiny, when we are on our mission in service to our highest good, part of that is a directive from these words are really hard, from the larger group from which our soul emerged. So we're gonna have to go way out to bring this back in. So let's do that, shall we? If we begin at source, we can see that from one unit, we could call source unit 1 or even unit 0, right? Then splits and multiple are formed. We can view this as like atom splitting or the formation of an embryo, right? From this initial emerging from source, we can feel one layer, one level of entity, of beingness, of light expressing itself. From here, more emerge. And again, we can view this as a chain reaction. That's the way it's coming through, a chain reaction. So like the Big Bang, I keep hearing the Big Bang, that massive explosion of energy that was light and sound, creating the universe as we know it, right? From here, it keeps growing. We could think of some of the galaxies, like the way that galaxies form could be seen as one aspect of soul groups, right? Then down into like the nebulas, another aspect of soul groups. And each star, each stellar dimension, another aspect of soul groups. When we when we journey the Akashic records, part of what is being accessed is these soul groups, these questions. What is the soul group? What is my light worker template? The soul group that we emerge from as we incarnate onto this plane is, oh, this is really hard. This is really hard. Some of us are builders. Some of us are architects. Some of us are messengers. Some of us are designers. What do I mean by that? Within the earthly plane, when our bodies incarnate into physical matter, we have emerged from a larger collective. That's the words we're going to use. We're going to use collective for soul groups. We emerge from these collectives and we have missions. So if you come from the architect group, say, you have missions that are related to the blueprint, the overarching blueprint of incarnate life on the earthly plane. If you are a builder, you are here to help create the structures and also to tear down the old structures that don't work anymore. If you're a messenger, you are here to help allow the voice of Gaia or the voice of God, the divine, to flow through you to help others hear or see where they were, where they're going, where all of the earth is going, where all of the earth has been. Prophets are often of that messenger soul group. Within each soul group, there are many, 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 many different types of templates. And each one of us has a unique one also, right? We come down here, we are on a mission. And our mission is based on what we're a specialist at as a soul, as a part of that collective energy. Some of us are really, really good at certain things. And so we get asked to come in. Like, I'm really good at, my soul tends to come in when an era shifts. Like, that's one of my specialist roles. There's lots of people with this type of specialization, and most of us are here now. Most of us are here now. You may have, if you've been following around for a while, You may have heard me talk about how this is an all hands on deck sort of situation. So we have, the earth has been flooded with architects and builders and designers and messengers and all of the different types of soul groups, like especially if those soul groups are innately connected with how life in this plane exists. Now, this is not to say that Hillary, sitting here talking to you, is like my ego self is in any way involved with how all of this came to be. It's to say that my soul emerged from part of a collective energy that is. And in some ways we can say all of us did, because we all emerged from source, which is the initial. So within each collective, within each soul group, there also exists various lineages, and this is the different other souls with whom you've connected. Some within your soul group, some in other soul groups. All of the various times that you've gone out and experienced life, embodied or otherwise, and all of the interrelations that you've had throughout that are the lineages that you carry with you. Your lineage is not simply, I was born to this parent and I carry those lineages forward with me. Does that make sense? Your light worker template is something completely different also. And all of these weave together. So let me feel where we are here. So let's give an example, shall we? Let's say you come from a soul group that is the messengers, that your unique lineage of the messengers is voice of Gaia. You will probably be very drawn to working with the land in some way and to singing praise to the land, to Gaia. This is not my personal lineage or soul group, but I am called to go out and what I call plant seeds, land activations. I am called to go to various places and place crystals and other things in these places and have a ceremony. Sometimes song is involved in that. If you are a messenger, voice of Gaia, chances are that is a big aspect of your service work here in this incarnation. How your light worker templates and your other lineages fall into play there may be the places where you live, the lands that you're drawn to, the way you're called to do this. It could be through caring for a very specific land space, land temple. It could be traveling around. It could be through community gardens. It doesn't have to be something super esoteric. It could be, I am called to help foster community gardens in the city that I live in. You see what I'm saying? And can you start to see how knowing where the collective group from which your soul emerged, and then the various lineages from that you carry with you from your various interactions, and then your light worker templates can all come together. They all weave together. I see you. They all weave together and help us to identify the true calling of our soul, what we actually came here to do, our mission. Now I get to bring some astrology back in. So our our natal chart, our unique birth map, is part of this. In our life planning session before we incarnate, we create this beautiful, beautiful blueprint, massive, multi-dimensional, interdimensional schematic that identifies all of the various quantum entangled paths that we may weave as we come down into this earthly plane and have the free will and the amnesia that goes along with that. So it is massive, right? Because every choice that you make is another fork. This is what quantum theory is talking about. It's all these various choices, and it's all there in the schematic of your life planning session. And there's all these, I call them alarm clocks, little places where you've contracted with someone else or created a little like ding in your schematic. I'm liking this word schematic. We're going to keep with it. That you've created in your schematic that will help you as you approach one of these choice points, where you approach one of these crossroads, to help kind of steer you in the most direct pathway, on your most direct path. Now, because there's free will, of course, you can also go the other direction. All roads lead to the same place eventually, but how you get there changes. So, when you're looking at your natal chart, this is what you're looking at, is this blueprint that you designed before you incarnated. When we have transits, which is a lot of what I talk about here on these energy updates, is where these different celestial bodies are in relation to where we currently are in our moment, in this moment of this earthly incarnation, on this plane, in this dimension, in this universe. We are seeing points of activation. So just like we can have a soul contract with another individual to come and say something to us or do something to us or be something in relation to us, and that's a contract that goes both ways and sometimes multiple different directions. We also have, as part of this schematic, all of the ways that the cosmic bodies are going to shine light and energy upon the earth and affect our personal schematic. And this is what astrology really is. It is an exploration of all of the various ways in which the light and energy is affecting our personal schematic. That's what, when we look at a natal chart reading for ourselves, that's what we're exploring. Now, for the collective, we can say this is Chiron and Aries, and this is how Chiron and Aries plays out upon the planet. This is how the energy that Chiron represents and how the energy that Aries represents has an ability to transform. It transforms through pinging various karmic explorations. And we've talked a lot about karma in these energy updates and in the cosmic light drops. Karma is a big thread that I weave in things. And the reason for this is because we have, for a very, very long time, had a misrepresentation of what karma is, and thought that it was a punishment, a weight that you have to carry with you because you've done these horrible things. You have to carry this horrible thing. It's like, I'm seeing the image of Scrooge from A Christmas Story, carrying and his partner carrying all those chains and heavy weights. That's how we viewed karma. When in reality, what karma actually is, it's a collection of experiences that our soul has had. And when we incarnate, depending on what our mission is for that incarnation, we are able to say, these are the experiences from previous incarnations, from my soul's experience, from my soul's lifetimes. And also, this is something it's taking us back to that soul group piece, because some of what we carry as karma within our being has to do with the soul group we emerged from. So let's go back to the messengers. If you come from the messenger soul group, part of what you are carrying as this experience of your soul is all the times that the messages from God have been misinterpreted, all of the times that the voice of Gaia has not been heard. Can you feel how intense that is? So if you're carrying that in your blueprint and you don't know what it is, how are you going to release the shame or the wounds that are held, the post-traumatic stress that your body is experiencing from that, and be able to step fully into your divine purpose? If you're carrying all of this baggage with you of all of the times that the voice was not heard, or that it was misinterpreted, or it was purposefully misinterpreted in order to allow an exertion of power over, misuses of power, all of these things. So when we go through an Akashic Records reading, or we go through a natal chart transmission, the way that I facilitate them anyways, part of what's happening is an activation, a remembering of the collective group from which your soul emerged, a remembering of the wounds that are being carried through that, a remembrance that it is not a punishment, but a gift of remembering who you are so that you can move forward. So that you can move forward. Tomorrow, the sun meets in conjunction with Uranus. A few days later, Mercury turns back around and starts moving forward again. We already talked about the fact that Venus has just entered Cancer. We are coming into a period where the information that was revealed to us through the eclipse wormhole is activated in such a way as to wake us up to our true sense of self. That's Uranus and the sun. To our true self, our true beingness, to help us become an expression, Mercury, an expression of that in the world. That's Mercury in Taurus also, right? Which is where Mercury is right now. It's also Uranus in Taurus and the sun in Taurus. All of this is about your physical manifestation. So I suppose Spirit, my higher self, Source, God, the divine, asked me to come on today and share with you some of the channelings I've received about what soul groups are, about what it means to have a lineage, different light worker templates, so that as we come through this week and start to approach the new moon next week on the 19th, you've received some light activation, because every time I come on and share one of these energy updates with you, it is also an activation of light. It is a frequency update. Whether you choose to then move with me and come request a consult, there will be a link below, and have a soul path journey consult, and maybe have some natal chart journeys or Akashic records readings, or various ways that I hold this space for your remembering. Or if you simply needed to hear this update so that you would be able to remember your soul group. I keep hearing, I am not special. And I'm not. I mean, I'm able to hold a space, and that's special. But each and every one of us has the ability to connect in with our divine self. And through that, connect in with who our team is, who our guides are, connect in with our soul group and what our divine purpose is. Does it help to have a guide? Absolutely. Absolutely. And if that calls to you, I would be more than honored to be that guide for you for the period of time in which our souls contracted to work together. And if it doesn't, that is also absolutely beautiful. Now let us, before I close this energy update, I can feel that there's one more energy that wants to be brought in. And so let us take a moment. Let us take a moment and allow it to funnel in. I keep hearing Saturn. I don't even know what Saturn's up to right now, except for being in Pisces. Perhaps Saturn will have a message for, oh, and there it is. It is simply knowing that these foundations exist, these structures exist to hold us. They are not meant to be rigid. Just like every soul contract is an agreement between one or more souls, when that contract is up, we can release it. Sometimes we will have lineages that were part of what we needed in a moment. And just like every once in a while you come from a family that is not your family, and so you have to leave them behind. We can do that with the lineages that we hold that are part of our history, or part of our story. One of the ways that we are freed to do this is by knowing. It's that old adage of you need to know the rules in order to break them properly. And part of the way that we release ourselves from old vows and old agreements that do not serve our highest good anymore is to let go of this rigid thinking that because our story connected to this lineage at one point, it is now forever locked in that. And there is no release. Because just like every relationship, sometimes that cord needs to be cut. a lot of times those particular releases it is helpful to have a guide for that. Someone who can hold space for you, because they can be really traumatic for your being, because it's been painful but also comfortable. It's, like I've spoken a lot about how I don't currently have a physical interaction relationship with my mother anymore. It took me many, many, many years to get to a point where I could say it is currently not healthy for me to be continuing to cycle this with you. And I allow myself to come back every once in a while and re-explore, is it now time for me to re-engage and be part, like allow that story to happen again? So far, the answer has always been no, but I'm open for the fact that it could one day be yes. It took me a lot of internal work, but I also had very strong guides with me, both my etheric guides, the ones that can't see, and also like therapists and my husband and my sister and other people who could hold space, other teachers and guides in my physical being reality, to hold that space and help me discern whether it was wounded inner child saying, no, this is not safe, or if it is simply true. It is simply true that the contract that you two had together needed to be renegotiated. Can you feel that? How even though much of this is very like esoteric, like how can I think about soul groups and light workers when I have this relationship? But they're the same thing, right? So when we're talking about what is my lineage, what is my soul group, what is my light worker template, we are also talking about the day-to-day interactions that you're having in your life and in your world. The foundations and structures you've created around yourself are in support of or in the detriment of walking your true soul path. Can you feel that? And this is part of why we have shadow work also. Wow, that was not some little tiny thing that Saturn wanted to gift us with, was it? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. I think that's where we'll close today. I hope you received something from this, an activation of light and a remembering of your truth, a divine unraveling of a mystery that has been perplexing you about why you do certain things as you walk around on this planet. And there's also, with all of this, there's also like the mysteries are way bigger than we could possibly ever comprehend here. So when we are exploring these things, it is so that we can walk our truth a bit more directly, but with also a knowing that what it means to be a messenger, what it means to be an architect or a builder or whatever it is that your particular energy emerged from source, it is still, these are simply human words and human constructs to help us understand what we're here to do. Okay, on that, as always and in always, so much and many loves to you from, through, and beyond all the dimensions.